Right. The last goo of the year. The final goo. Ugh. Staburo-sama! Ha! Bitey goo 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 goo. Bitey goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Bitey goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. What will we goo? Normally do what we goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Ah, my spider knows its timer for the goo. Glorious. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo goo. What will we goo? Nobody do. What do we goo? Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo goo. I need a sip. I need a sip of my sip. Oh, that's some good coffee. A perfect ratio of a butter, sugar, and java. Painting goo, 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. I genuinely find it really difficult to do that one bit without laughing. It's too many goos. Oh fuck. Ugh. Painting goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. Right, you know the drill, you filthy mortar scum. Pay the monkey so he doesn't go hunky. Place a tip in the monkey's bowl if you have a soul. And I don't mean your feet. Greetings, my beloved Japonaita, and welcome to another glorious and indeed the final episode of Painting Goo for 2025. Please excuse me whilst I descend into PEINTEINGU posture. Ah. Typical. A stiff, slow stool to end 2025. Excellent. Right, I have descended into proper PEINTEINGU posture and can now begin painting for you, you filthy mortal scum, and of course my beloved Japonaita, who are held above and apart from the rest of you, who do not pay for PEINTEINGU. You dishonorable, soulless fucks. Right, we return to Mighty Bitey. I may not even finish Mighty Bitey today. So much details to accomplish on this thing we are presented with. I need to make his eyes greener. I don't want to go back to Euro. I'm not that fond of Asians. Right. Staburo-sama, Desmondo-sama. It appears that ye are the only ones with any honor this day. I am indeed glad to see microphone is still looking retarded. He shall remain this way indefinitely. A reminder of the phantom moisture damage, which we all probably know by now is actually my retarded technical abilities. A simple push of a button, which, if I do recall correctly, I did say that. I was something along the lines of me being like, you know, it's probably just some fucking mode or switcher thing, which only makes it more frustrating. Micah, you have made a fool of me, and as punishment, your eyes shall remain further apart than they should be. Right! Tunes! Speaking of Mighty Bitey, let's get us in the mood for some goo.
The last thing you want to come across is
this thing!
a member of the Mighty Bitey clan.
One of these!
And you're out foraging for berries and grapes.
Grapes! Grapes! Grapes!
In the local forest region. And a Mighty Bitey slithers from the bush.
Right, where are my
Proceeds
bitches?
to steal all your belongings and take a big chunk out of your ass, and then scurry off into the distance laughing at you while you bleed from your bum. And realize that you have been mugged by
Mugged.
All hail the Mighty Bitey.
Fuck yes!
The last thing you want to come across is a member of the Mighty Bitey clan, and you're out foraging for berries and grapes, grape haze in the local forest region. And the Mighty Bitey slithers from the bush, proceeds to steal all your belongings and take a big chunk out of your ass, and then scurry off into the distance, laughing at you while you bleed from your bum and realize that you have been mugged by a monster.
Mighty Bitey. Mighty Bitey.
The last thing you want to come across is a member of the Mighty Bitey clan, and you're out foraging for berries and grapes, grape haze in the local forest region. And the Mighty Bitey slithers from the bush, proceeds to steal all your belongings.
Eyes so wide apart, you need a bridge to get to the other side.
And realize that you have been mugged by a
Monster. Oh. Mighty Bitey. Mighty Bitey. Mighty Bitey.
The last thing you want to come across is a member of the Mighty Bitey clan, and you're out foraging foraging for berries and grapes, grape haze in the local forest region. And the mighty bitey slippers from the bush.
Grapes, grape haze.
Belongings and take a big chunk out of your ass and then scurry off into the distance, looking at you while you bleed from your bum and realize that you have been
Mugged by a monster. Oh, mighty bitey. Mighty bitey. Mighty bitey.
The last thing you want to come across is a member of the mighty bitey clan, and you're out foraging for berries and grapes, grape haze in the local forest region. And the mighty bitey slithers from the bush, proceeds to steal all your belongings and take a big chunk out of your ass and then scurry off into the distance, laughing at you while you bleed from your bum and realize that you have been
Mugged by a monster.
All hail
The mighty bitey. Fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love it. I'm going to ascend to the beginning of the playlist. Long ago, 3 weeks prior, when these gentlemen began making music for me. It has been quite the rider. Let me see. Can't remember what this one is. It's just PEINTEINGU. Ugh! Just coffee. Oh, I remember this now. Colors slip, they glide, they fall. Trail for more. My mind's a zoo. Paint, PEINTEINGU. Painting you. Sip, sip. Rant, rant. PEINTEINGU. Drip, they fall. These bitches. These bitches. Paint, paint, PEINTEINGU. Paint, PEINTEINGU. Huh. Paintingu, my blood, it speaks to you. Green and true. Paintingu. Glorious, glorious tunage. Stabaru's Eternal Curse. From the album One Suicide Too Many. Printabaru! Welcome! Please consult your physician if the goo speaks to you for 2 hours or more. But never rests. So much excellent tunage. Which is... Emperor knows you were. Country version. Oh, no see way.
Down in the east where the rivers bend, lived a man whose hunger had
no way.
end. No sea Wayne, they called his name. A feast on his lips, a belly ashamed.
Ooh,
Oh no,
see Wayne.
no sea of light, a table spread wide every single night. Oh no,
See Wayne.
his throne made of pie, he ruled with a fork till his health took the sky.
How funny would that be actually if he always just had a little fork in his hand?
His palace wall,
Like he's Chinese but he doesn't use chopsticks, he always just has a fucking little fork in his hand like.
dumplings danced in his midnight dream. Golden rice flowed like a grainy tide. The sweetness within
Was the poison inside?
he never saw it coming. The sugar snake humming. Oh
No see Wayne.
no see the light. Table spread wide every single night. Oh
No see Wayne.
his throne made of pies. He ruled with a fork till his health took the sky. One day he said, "Two
The fork is No See Wang's symbol of divine hunger.
empire of gluttony
Fork is
from his hand.
Fork is superior food delivery system.
No sea Wayne,
That's actually what my reasoning was behind it as well. Like, I was like, he's the emperor of China, but he doesn't use chopsticks. Why? Because he's always just shoveling shit into his mouth. Like,
table spread wide every single night.
oh god. It's like he thinks the spoon and the oh, how funny would that be if he thinks the spork is the best like Western invention. Like he has instead of a fork he has a spork. Cause why the fuck not? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we're talking about efficiency as food delivery systems, like, say what you want about the Westerners, but they have invented one of the most ingenious food delivery systems I have ever seen in my life. It's a spork. Just always has a spork on him, like. Oh, it'd be so funny if, like, he should always have like a concubine there with like a big bowl of food or something, like, and he just like, he's always like, she's like right beside him and she'll start off with like a full bowl or something, and just throughout the conversation or the scene or whatever he'll just like occasionally like take a big fucking heap of noodles or beef or whatever from the bowl, like, you know, and then like whatever excess is there he just like flicks into the bowl. So just over the course of any scene or episode or whatever like that, this bitch with the bowl is just like covered in food matter. Like over time. He like never lets her get cleaned and all. Like, he has another concubine that reloads the bowl for her. She's not even allowed to move. Like, I think it'd be really funny to do mad shit like that to show how like horrifyingly shit it would be to be like under his reign as like a soldier or a concubine or any of these things. Like even the baker in his empire is like an overworked, stressed out, like, you know, really hardworking family man, like, but like trying to feed No Si Wang just an insane amount of dumplings all the time. It has like run him ragged. like Emperor No Si Wang could be an entire cartoon on its own. Like, so fucking funny. Where's the okay, painting goo. Oh my god, how do you know the value of someone until you you don't know the value of someone until you sell them to a foreigner? I forgot about this. You guys have made so much amazing shit that I forgot about some of them already. Like, just this like flood of creativity. Like, I love it. No Si Wang does not need to know the difference between a spoon or a ladle. Both are adequate tools, nothing more, nothing less. No Si Wang eats noodles by the wok, not by the bowl. Oh fuck. To trade in life as the emperors may change. You do not know the value of someone until they're sold to a foreigner. FC cries on his throne of bones. He sits so high to never see his feet until the end of time. Farmers toil for rice they'll never take. While Wang grows wide in his gluttonous haste, the Guj Hang weeps as the people hums his young keen heartstrings strong then numb. What if that's one of the reasons why what if Defender Usama thinks that like the whole time he's been banished to Earthrealm because of the whole Monkey King portrait situation, but that's actually just like a ruse? His true purpose is to like take the piss out of people like Emperor No Si Wang, so like it gives the people of the like what Owen does in real life. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been sent down to Earthrealm to like be an irreverent painter and take the piss out of everything, but the only way it was gonna work is if he's really pissed off and feels like wronged. So he's just like the fucking monkey. Like, he has like no respect for anyone's authority, like, because he just got banished from heaven over a painting. So it's just like, fuck all this shit, like, all you filthy mortals, fuck all this, like that's why he was sent down. Oh, that'd be fucking brilliant. Man, the Dance of the Duduk is fucking class. And then the 8-bit symphony after that. Oh, fuck it hell. Do. There's something really satisfying about applying the form to an object, like, to try and, like, there's certain areas where I've really nailed it, where it actually looks like the tentacle is, like, you know, got loads of layers and it's like writhing and shit. Like, kind of nailed it here and here, like over here, some places, some bits it looks like shit. But that's the thing, is like, if you want everything to look perfect, it's gonna take time, you know. But I think one of the things I've shown with this stream is that technique, knowledge and technique, like those one-stroke dragons that they do in China and shit, like, you can, if you know what you're doing and you have the right medium, you can fucking throw a masterpiece, or what looks like a masterpiece at first glance. You can throw it together in like 15 minutes if you know what you're doing, like, you know, and have the right equipment, like. So over 2 hours or a week or whatever, like, man, like, in another few years, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm capable of, like, in definitely in a week of like 2-hour episodes, produce something that looks like a Magic the Gathering card or some shit, like, you know. Because I'm getting faster, like. It's all about patterns. And playing music while you're doing it really helps, because it gets you into a rhythm. Especially for shit like this, where, like, you're doing the same thing repetitively over and over again with, like, minor changes. I think the one thing that does genuinely bug me about acrylics is the loss of vibrancy when they dry. But you can easily compensate for that by just making things lighter or darker, you know? Gonna give this an extra shock, because it's just been sitting here. Oh! すみません。Where was I? Oh yeah, I was doing the teeth as well. There's like loads of chunks of paint. It's the same thing happened with the battle clam, is like I didn't clean the palette. So there's like loads of these chunks of paint all over the place. And like initially I was like, oh shit, I need to get them off and all, like, but like now I'm like, nah, fuck it, leave them in. Like they just add to like the texture and shit, like. Paintingu, paintingu. Paintingu, paintingu. Paintingu, goo, 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 goo. Paintingu. Paintingu, goo, goo. Love that 8. Oh, I was about to say I love that 8-bit shit and change it, but no, love this too. Yeah, the Neon Reverie. This one's class. So chill. So beautiful. a bit too pink, but I'll let it dry first. Could always just put another layer of red over them later. Nothing like a good glazing to change things up. Work on the eyes for a sec. Should have cleaned the palette, didn't. Don't care. It'll brighten up the eyes, but then darken them in certain areas as well. To like point out where the pupil kind of is or whatever. Teeth are alright. There's certain parts of them that are too bright now. Yeah, like this is too bright. I suppose it's not like that far off, especially with the front tentacle, but yeah, there's a color disparity in him. He's not a uniform color. We will remedy this. Time's it. Buttery Java. Right. That was Neon Reverie, brought to you by our very own Stabru-sama. Via Suno. What's this now? Oh, it's like a version Night of Niggle the version Night of Niggle the Night. Bit of niggle.
As dusk falls, he sheathes his sword. Another battle.
There we go.
Another war. Not a speck on his
Armor today.
precise where
His
his
blows
blows, no energy lost.
Gleaming still. Armor divine. Wings on his head. Gleaming in moonlight.
Defender's creation, the silver night.
Niggle the night.
Armor shines bright, ready for battle at dawn's first light. Wielding his sword with courage of heart. Enemies beware, your spirit he'll
Bam, 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 bam.
Dawn approaches, light encroaches, his focus steady, death by sword or dishonor, plenty, pauldrons gleaming, razors spiking.
I found a way to get the AI to create a song based on an entire episode of The Goo, taking your words and rhyming them into a song. Didn't have time to finish it last evening. Something I want to do in the future. Recap episodic oh man, that'd be so good. Do the whole thing in like 5 minutes or something, or 4 minutes. Like, that'd be fucking brilliant. Like, be like a really cool alternative to like doing clips of the stream. You just do you just do a song about every episode. I don't know, I mean, like, doing a song about all the creations and stuff is fucking overwhelming enough, like, you know. Like, bands don't even make that many songs, like, do you know what I mean? Like, a band will fuck off for a few years and come back with 12 songs, like, do you know what I mean? PEINTEINGU would have, like, in the next couple of years, would have hundreds of songs. Oh man, we're gonna give people PEINTEINGU fatigue. Like, oh fuck. Let me see. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna go over to Printer Bear stuff for a minute. We have not yet though. I'm playing this. Oh fuck. Man, it was cold when I came in here. I should have put the heating on ages ago. It was foolish me. Foolish of me to wait. Well, it's not that I waited. I forgot. Veins, nothing remains. Never pure. I stand alone, a clean man, broken land. Yeah, that's way too bright up here. I stand alone, soul away. I fucking love that one. I fucking love it. I legit think this is... I don't know, I can't pick a favorite, but this is close. This is pretty fucking close. PEINTEINGU is the overwhelming winning the trunk promised me, and I'm here for it. They will listen and like each and every song or suffer the shame of their ancestors. There's a goose song about that. Growing fatigue of PEINTEINGU. We have a song for that too. You cannot escape the goo. In a kimono. Monkey on piano. On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. Minutes of a man on piano. Lips on a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. On the 4th day of Christmas, the good Lord sent to me 5 rice as ravens. 4 battle clouds, 3 minutes of a monkey on piano till fat lips. On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. On the 6th day of Christmas, the good Lord sent to me 6 box of porridge. 5 rice as ravens. 4 battle clouds, 3 minutes of a monkey on piano till fat lips. On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. On the 7th day of Christmas, the good Lord sent to me 7 dragons hairdressing. 6 bars of porridge. 5 rice as ravens. I just point out that the idea of a dragon being a hairdresser is hilarious.
Christmas, the good Lord sent to me 7 dragons hairdressing. 6 bars of porridge. 5 rice as ravens. 4 battle clouds. 3 minutes of monkey on piano till fat lips. On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. On the 8th day of Christmas, the good Lord sent to me 8 nights of niggling. 7 dragons hairdressing. 6 bars of porridge. 5 rice as ravens. 4 battle clouds. 3 minutes of a monkey on piano till fat lips. On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. On the 9th day of Christmas, Christmas the good Lord sent to me 8 nights
A niggling.
6 books of barging, 5 races rave, 3 minutes of a monkey
On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. That goes so hard.
minutes of a monkey
On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono.
12th day of Christmas the good Lord sent to me 12 drumsticks from
No Seawag. What does a Borg do? It Borgs. It Borges, of course. Oh,
3 minutes of a monkey on piano, 2 fat lips
On a microphone and an Irishman in a kimono. So fucking good.
They called him to the town, said bring your colors
I love this. That planter sat for years.
It's time my goo draws near goo 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 goo
Goo
goo.
goo 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 goo.
Have you no
Wanna goo 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 goo.
you're gay, you should go away. Use the paper and let it flow.
Goo 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 goo.
An image from heaven bestowed. They gather from across the realm.
Goo 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 goo.
Oh, watch this mad lad at the helm.
Goo 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 goo.
Brushes wet and colors so bright. A splash of morality, truth and might.
Goo 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 goo. So good. So good.
Tell me, Charlie. Under your peril.
That's definitely something I would love to do. I would love to have like a get together in the future, like around Christmas, and like make a metal album, like fucking like Christopher Lee did. Like it'd be so much fun. Like even if it was kind of shit, like obviously it wanted to be fucking banging, but like I don't want to do it like where we like I'll learn how to play guitar and sing or something, like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure, like it's I assume one of you knows how to play an instrument. Spend a while trying to correct these numbering, but no luck. Man, like, it doesn't need fixing, it's so good. Like, how long before we need a article saying Suno is the new weapon of the far right? Oh, don't get me started. Oh yeah, I forgot about the phrase. Good man. I'll let this play through. I'll do it afterwards. No one's having more fun. Doubtful. It is doubtful that anyone is having more fun than us. I'm not like I don't even get like, you know, properly like paid to do this shit. None of us do. Like that's how you know it's fun, is we're doing it anyway. Like, you know, like. Just realizing a mighty bitter appear to be kind of like a fly trap. Like of you're eaten by a bitey. Where do you go? Yeah, like fucking Venus flytrap. I said that like on the last stream or the stream before. It kind of has that Venus flytrap vibe. Yeah, if you get eaten by it, where do you go? There's no like, unless it's like, you know, I have deceived your eyes, and little do you know that there's like a lorry-sized like back end to this thing. No, yeah, some kind of like metabolizing saliva would be the thing. It just like, it chews you till you're a paste, and then like absorbs you through its like flesh. Disgusting. Yeah, like the strips of flesh that it would tear away with its pads on its tentacles would just be like metabolized and digested into the pads, like, you know. It's like a mix of an octopus, starfish, Komodo dragon, fucking Venus flytrap, some kind of mushroom maybe or something, or parasite, I don't know, like. I know there's shit that I know there's creatures that can, well, not creatures, I know there's organisms that metabolize shit like just on contact. Or is it on contact? Yeah, because that's essentially what soil and fucking, like what you were talking about with osmosis and stuff like that, where like you could just put sugar in a load of in a Tupperware thing with fish, and like the sugar metabolizes the fish. Like, it's weird. Apparently you can do that with an onion as well. It's like you carve out an onion, so it's like a bowl, and you stick a lot of sugar in it, and it makes, from what I remember, I could be totally wrong, it makes something similar to Calpol, which is like a sweet medicinal syrup or some shit like. Unless his mouth is like a portal to another realm. Yeah, well, like that's what I love about fucking proper creature design and fantasy and stuff like that. It's like you can just go crazy with it if you want. Like you'll always get people be like, that doesn't make any sense though. It's like if you're taking if the fantasy and narrative that you're weaving is implying that it's taking itself seriously, which most of the time you have to do to get like different emotions. Like, you know, you want like if you want to make the audience experience like proper like sadness and like anger and stuff like that, you'd be watching a TV show like Game of Thrones or something like that. Like, and you're like, that scene where is it Oberyn, when the Red Viper gets his skull crushed by the fucking mountain. You're watching it, and the anticipation has been built up for a few episodes, and it's all very serious. And the threat of Tyrion dying and all this, like they weave all of these parts, and it's like baking a cake, like, you know, it's like cooking a meal. Like, you got this boiling over here, you got this boiling over here, you got this in the oven, you got like, and it's all syncing up into one climactic moment. You know, you could fucking you could just, it's like everything. It's like fighting, it's like sex, like it's like any kind of creative endeavor generally has loads of different parts, or at least two parts that are polarized against each other, causing some kind of conflict that results in eventually some kind of climax or resolution. It's the same with creature design. Like, when you get the ultimate creature, well, not the ultimate creature, when you get a good creature is when, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, it depends on what creature you're trying to design. That's what I'm saying. Is it depends on what. If you want something that's like genuinely terrifying, like, then you kind of need to make it realistic. If you want something like this, that's kind of like, you know, it's just a monster. It's like kind of just a goofy, like, it's cool, but it's not like, there's elements of cuteness to it where it's kind of like adorably ridiculous and shit. Like the idea of this thing mugging you, like, you know, like this thing comes out of a dark alley and you're like, oh my god, what is that? And it like slaps you, wounds you horrifically, but doesn't like kill you, like, do you know what I mean? Or even inflict like a like a lasting wound, like it gets like literally a flesh wound, like just slaps you, but then like rummages around in your pockets and your bag, nicks all your shit and leaves. Like, you would expect this thing to try and eat your ass, like, do you know what I mean? If it just came out and like slapped you and you're like, oh, what the fuck, and it just robs you and fucks off. Like fucking Skeletor, like it just runs off into an alleyway until we meet again. Or like slaps you, steals your stuff, and you're like, what the fuck, and all that. It's like runs off into the corner, turns around, and just goes. And it's just like, that makes me laugh. So, the idea of a monster actually just being a thief. Like, it's like terrifying looking with teeth and like claws and all, and it just steals your wallet and your watch and fucks off. Oh my god, that would be pure funny. And then like, it doesn't, like, that's like these teeth and the tentacles are purely like defensive purposes, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even eat flesh. What it does is it just like sits in its little cave with all the trinkets it's fucking stolen, like anything from a leather wallet to a gold watch, and like drops all the fucking trinkets into its mouth and like slowly metabolizes all the metal and shit, like, which is what makes this thing so dangerous, is it's like actually a form of liquid metal. Try to shoot this little fucker and bullets will just bounce off him. Like, you could just keep going and make this thing like a ridiculously powerful creature. Like, side note, there's some really inappropriate rap Christmas in the chat this morning. Hold on, what? Side note, there's some really, oh, I think I saw that stuff actually. Yeah, I completely forgot. It was after the fucking oh yeah, I wanted to play this actually. That fucking, You guys see that fucking the goat with the massive schnoz that I put in? The oryx. I saw that. I was instantly that's Ira if it was a goat. Where's this thing that yeah, the Dentalox thing. This is fucking brilliant. I was making coffee and I was laughing so hard in the kitchen at this.
Have you eaten a meal as of late? Hunted down an ibex, suffocated it, and promptly eaten it ass first? You need Dentalox. Side effects include bizarre sleep behavior, sleep eating, driving while asleep, strange bodily functions, blue or black urine, sudden hair growth or loss, or even movie like amnesia. These can be serious. And promptly eaten it ass.
Have you recently hunted an ibex and promptly eaten it ass first?
Hey! Have you eaten a meal as of late? Hunted down an ibex, suffocated it, and promptly eaten it ass first? You need Dentalox. Side effects include bizarre sleep behavior, sleep eating, driving while asleep, strange bodily functions, blue or black urine, sudden hair growth or loss, or even movie like amnesia. These can be serious or deadly or helpful or planned if you're looking for that 8 out of 10. Dentalox. 4 out of 5 doctors agree. All hail Mighty Buddy.
I'm fucking like, my cheeks are hurting. Oh fucking hell. I'll do the phrase though. The pads secrete an enzyme that dissolves the fleshy bits stuck to them. Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. It's like cause isn't Komodo dragon saliva something along those lines? It's like it's not just like toxic and necrotic or whatever, but one of the reasons that I have it is it's like a digestive aid, I think. Because I think they keep stuff for a long time, and like a lot of the flesh they'd eat would be rotten and stuff. I could be completely wrong again. Like I watch so many fucking nature documentaries that a lot of the details probably get like mixed up together and shit. Like, but like I said, I know there's like there's like I think it's more common in plants and yeah, like I don't know how else to describe. Yeah, plants. It's more because I was gonna say mush, but so fungi. You know, like fungi, plants. They typically have more because like mammals and stuff have stomachs. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like they actually have somewhere to digest the food, which is what Printer Bear's point was. It's like he's just a mouth. He literally is like Meatwad, just like opened up with a load of teeth. Like, do you know what I mean? And then tentacles and shit. So, but that's why I love stuff like that. Like I love the process of like, so how does it work? And it's like, well, you could do this, like, and quite often the shit you come up with is just ridiculous. Like, but that's what makes it cool, is how fucking off the chain it is. Like, doing the phrase. Today's phrase of the day is as follows, and I completely forgot to do this. Today's phrase is brought to you by Tobias Beekus Kroos, our resident feathery friend, defender of our tiny gong and its mighty song. That's a fucking mouthful. I don't know if I'd be able to remember that one every time. Oh. I send cleansing vibrations through the interwebs to arouse your chi to flow freely as I announce today's phrase of the day. Micah, stop moving. The benefit to black people in advertisements is that you don't have to ask grok if they are Jewish. I don't get that one. It reads like I should find it funny, but I'm just missing the point. Like, the benefit to black people in advertisements is that you don't have to ask grok if they are Jewish. There are black Jews, aren't there? Yeah, there's like the whole black Israelite thing. Well, that's probably a different. There's too many groups. I think I'm getting group fatigue. It's like the pads have millions of tiny pores that absorb the melted nutrients. Yeah. Hey, Margie! Right. Today's bonus Polak joke is as follows. It's a lesser-known fact that Poland attempted to land on the sun. They were ridiculed by the world until the Polish president said that they planned on going at night. That's like one of them dad jokes. Like, we land on sun. How are you gonna land on the sun? We go at night. It will be very cool. Like, that's one of those things that's so ludicrously stupid. Like, group fatigue. Yeah, I think I've got group fatigue. I'm sick of all these different groups. Like, all this talk of like inclusion and diversity and all this fucking shit. Like, it's like individually and then as a meta culture, it makes sense and works to a degree of people being like, oh, I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Hindu, I'm a... What is it? I'm sure there's loads of people that claim to be Shintoists, or whatever, like Taoists, Buddhists. Like, obviously the three main ones are Jews, Muslims, and Christians. But that's what I think is hilarious, is from what I've, like, heard, the Jews started all of them. Like, the Jews started Christianity. The Jews started, like, Islam. In a sense, like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, if the Jews are always like, this is how it was not explained to me, but like, this from what I've heard and what that makes me think is, like, the Jews have always been the middle, well, for as far as we can remember, or have been told through records. The Jews are always middlemen. And that gives them great power, you know, because the nature of being the middleman, like, is essentially like you're both the gatekeeper and the gate creator, if you like, in a sense, you know. Like, if people trust you to be the middle, but that's why they always get kicked out of the nation, is like a combination of the people getting to a point where, like, hey, we're sick of these people, you know, taking advantage, and then also at the same time, the people, like, it makes sense. It's like they argue rationally for the tolerance and allowance of certain sins, while the other groups are like, no, we don't do that. That's against our culture, religion, whatever. It's all the same. It's just a contract. It's just a verbal or written and accepted contract between all the people in a given area. You know, we all Christian. Yeah, we all Christian. You Christian? I Christian. Do you believe? I believe. You know, like, you know, thou shalt not kill. Yeah, you know, like, it's just an agreement. That's what I find fascinating about all this shit, is like the amount of people who aren't willing to, like, because I won't make the argument of like, oh, you're just too fucking stupid to understand. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fucking retards out there right now, but I genuinely believe and think that it's not intellect that's the problem, it's the spell casting, which is where you get into the whole thing of like, has people's free will kind of been taken from them because they're so, like, they're manipulated to, like, Owen has made, I don't know if he's made this argument, but he's pointed this out before, where it's like, is it unfair now? Like, was the game fair before, but now because of the way things have gone, it's not fair anymore? Like, that kind of makes sense to me, you know? I think, like, I would believe that we've gotten to a stage where it's like, if, like, say you take, for, just hypothetically, you have God and then you have Satan, right? And this whole thing is a game between God and Satan, where Satan's like, okay, you've given them free will, so, like, I can't make them do anything, but I'm going to influence and manipulate them and use their free will again. I'm going to use the greatest gift you have given them, which is consciousness and awareness and free will. I'm going to use it against them to, not only prove you wrong, but also prove that like your creation is flawed and like blah 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 blah. Like, do you know what I mean? And God is like, okay, off you go, because he ultimately knows how his system of creation really works. And the arrogance of Satan or Lucifer or whatever is that because God created him as close to perfect as possible, he's like, well, I'm perfect in quotes, so that makes me just as good as you. But that actually, like, it's kind of like what Owen was talking about in a recent stream, where like really high IQ is very susceptible to spellcrafting because they're like gullible and naive. Like I've experienced that. I'm not claiming to be high IQ. I can't, like, I genuinely don't think I'm that intelligent. It's the same way I would be like, I know I can fight, but then the argument is like, to what degree, So like, I've no problem looking at a dude for a few minutes who's like or sometimes you can just tell by the aura, you're like, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. Like that guy, you could just feel it, like, it's similar where it's like, I have seen and experienced like what I have discerned to be like, Jesus Christ, that's very that's a very sophisticated thought process. So I would be like, maybe I'm above average intelligence, maybe, I don't know, haven't a clue. Where was I going with this? Yeah. So because Lucifer or Satan is so intelligent, in quotes or whatever, so close to perfection, he falls for, like, that's pride. Pride becomes before the fall. He's like, but I'm amazing. And God, I can imagine, is just sitting there going, oh fuck, what have I done? like he probably created, God probably created maybe inadvertently his greatest adversary. Maybe, like, there's a part of me that thinks that God intentionally did that. Like, he created an adversary for himself. That makes sense to me. I mean, if you're an omnipotent, omnipresent consciousness and you try, like, you're engaging in the act of creation on a meta level, where you're literally creating organisms that fit into like a grand painting or tapestry of, like, there's creations within a creation, and it all works in tandem and like lasts in perpetuity. Like, do you know what I mean? It just keeps recycling itself, and the cows eat the grass and they shit, and that grows more grass, and all. Like, it's just this incredibly sophisticated biological machine, in a sense, like autonomous biological machine. And then you have this creation that is almost like the pinnacle of the concept of creation, where it's like something has created something else that is like the best at singing, the best at drawing, the best at fighting, the best at, like, he's the most intelligent, he's the greatest this, blah, blah, blah. But like, that is his weakness, is that he has been made to be close to perfect. So that's all he sees. So he's like so arrogant and prideful that he forgets that he was made by something. So that intrinsically means that the thing that made him is like greater than him. Because like all these people worried about AI and robots, it's like, you could make a machine that is designed to kill people, but it would have flaws because it's made by a person. But the human is intrinsically, it has intrinsically built into it a higher potential for murdering other humans than the robot. Like, because the human made the robot to kill humans. Like, so it's like, like the whole what is the sword without the hand that wields it, from Conan. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, when he convinces your one to walk off the fucking cliff and she plummets and crashes through the fucking wood scaffolding, he's like, that is strength, that is power. What is a sword without the hand that wields it? It's the same with AI. It's the same with God and Lucifer. It's like Lucifer is nothing without God, who created him, who is essentially wielding him for a grander purpose. And then you get into the whole thing of like whether or not angels have free will, which I'm assuming they do if Lucifer did something that got him banished. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then there's like all these angels that left with him or were banished with him. So it's like this idea of you could be so good at something that you now actually have a massive blind spot. And that makes total sense, because again, the yin and the yang symbol, you have a grand scope of white, a dot of black, a grand scope of black, a dot of white. And symbolically what that tells you is that like the more good you have, the greater potential for like it's not greater potential. The more good you have, nature's, like God's law dictates that there's going to be a concentrated equaling of evil within the good, or bad within the good, or negative within the positive, or down within the up, you know, left to right or whatever like that. And it's like these universal fundamental truths, whether you're talking about alchemy, geometry, you know, any of these fucking these necessary parts of existence itself, like, you know. So like, how did I even get off onto this whole thing? What was I fucking so was this all just stemmed from the group? I'm fatigued by groups. I can't remember. It's but I find that fascinating, the whole thing of like how intelligence actually works. You know, it almost is like the less you think and the more you feel, the more like intrinsically intelligent and wise you are in certain criteria. And then the more you feel and the less you think, it works the same way. It's like someone who's really emotional is almost useless in very chaotic, like a crisis, you know, somebody loose with a gun or some shit like that. Like, it's like people who feel too much. That's like the example would be the woman that just stands there screaming while there's a crisis happening. She's literally not helping anyone, not even herself. You know, she's just completely pathological in that moment. And that's why everybody respects the men who like can keep their shit together in a crisis and chop down the door or go into the burning building, or, you know, or kill the bear or whatever, like, you know. Like, it's fascinating how there's a law built into existence where literally too much of anything is a bad thing. That's why I love that saying, all things in moderation. But I think it should, like, I just suppose this is kind of arrogant of me to be like, oh, it should be this. Like, I don't know. But it makes sense to me that it's like all things in moderation, including moderation, or even moderation. Because sometimes you like an extreme is necessary, you know. That makes sense to me, like, all things in moderation, including moderation. Like, it makes natural sense that you'd want to be moderate most of the time, and then there's like some times where you want to be extreme. Just makes sense. I mean, the sun and the moon do that. The weather does that. Everything does that. You know, goes through cycles and time spans of like not much of a difference, and then there's cycles and time spans where there's drastic differences. But that makes perfect sense. It's like it needs to be that, like, you know. It's like, could you imagine if you had a life that was only filled with pleasure? Would you even know what pleasure is? You know, if you never knew pain, would you really know what pleasure was? The whole thing of like, you can't have good without bad and bad without good and all this shit, like, makes total sense. Yeah, maybe that's where I was going with that. Is like people adhere too much to their group's identity, like or their identity in general. This whole idea of like, I'm this and I believe in this, and that means that if you express your thing and I disagree with it, that like I need to get rid of you and all. Like, don't get me wrong, there does come a point where that is a reality. You know, that's why wars well, it's not why wars happen. It can be the reason why people engage in violence, is a difference of opinion that has just gotten so extreme. You know, you could just call it a difference of culture or whatever. I think that's so important. I think that what Owen is doing with the ladle stuff and all, like in the slaying of wizards and stuff like that, like how to slay a wizard and shit, is like probably one of the most like noble endeavors that anyone's like trying to undertake right now that we know about. Obviously there's a lot of people that could be doing stuff out there right now that we haven't got a clue about, and they're doing something incredibly noble and self-sacrificing and highly moral. But having said that, if you're just looking at like the public or online, Owen is genuinely trying to give people tools that make them more powerful. You know, how can you tell if somebody is deceiving you? Incredibly useful in today's life. Incredibly useful in today's life. Everything from knowing if you're getting scammed to knowing if you're like being scammed on like a meta level. Like, you know, it's like such an incredible skill to learn that most people right now just haven't got a clue about. But I suppose you could argue that like all if not the majority of people who engage in that kind of behavior would be aware of shit like that, but only to a degree, you know, typically. Like, you don't need to be a master in deception to just be a thief and a con man. Like, you know, it helps, but it's not necessary. What's necessary is for you to be vacated enough for you to think that it's okay to do those things, you know, and then excuse them and shit. But it is, it's just incredibly fascinating for me to engage in this like little culture war thing, even in my own little way, where I'm like looking at the metaphysical reality of our society at large and all these like, and the things I've experienced recently where like, you know, someone telling me that I should probably just keep my mouth shut and all, like, and I'm just like, the drastic level of ignorant arrogance from that position. You're just like you seriously, like, you're okay existing like that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very similar to when you see someone who's like morbidly obese or something, and you're just like, how the fuck do you, like, how do you do that? How do you bring yourself to like not try and get rid of all that disgusting extra flesh? You know, like, you look like you smell bad. Like, it's like, and they're just like that, you know. And we live in such fucked up times that you'll have a load of people that'd be like, don't slut shame, don't fat shame. Like, you have that TV show called Shameless and all. I've never watched it, but I just think it's funny where you see these things where it's like you just, there's no shame. There's no shame. People will just do mad shit and then play the victim. And you're like, there's no logic in that. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, you know, but like then you do make sense of it. You make sense of it and you're like, oh, okay, so you have to like take a meta view of it. You have to step back and look at it from a meta perspective, and then you start to see the reasons for these things and why people would think that this stuff is okay and all, like, and then that's where you get into the whole rabbit hole conspiracy theory shit of like, oh, there's obviously like groups of people throughout history who have copped on to the idea that like, oh, you can just lie, you can just trick people, you can just deceive people, like, as a form of existence, as a form of like your society can be based on that. Your society can be based on parasitically attaching yourself to other societies. And I'm not just talking about the Jews, like, you know, because the Jews is such like a broad, vague term now. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just group fatigue. Like, I'm fatigued by groups, like, because like it's endless. It's this the Order of the Golden Dawn, the fucking Knights Templar, the fucking Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, the fucking Skull and Crossbones. It's no different than Warhammer. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you have the Space Marines, and then the Space Marines have like 1,000 factions, you know, and you're like, okay, you know, it's like, you know when you get like choice paralysis, it's like, what gun would you like? And then there's like 20,000 different guns, all these different calibers, all this different. It's the same with food. It's the same with like art. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, welcome to the Wonder Emporium of like the impossibility of choice. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, you would. It does. Yeah, it makes sense to have like a limit. It makes sense to have like a way lower scale, a way lower amount of like, okay, you can have this, this, or this. And like the people who are like, I only get 3 choices, it's like, you're lucky that we're giving you a choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's the reality. Like, you know, you like whatever about God and like good and evil and all these things. We're talking about the unseen forces, you know. Typically, you know, you get into arguments with people who are like, I've seen ghosts, I've seen werewolves, whatever. Cool. I hope they're real. Make life more interesting. But like, typically we're talking about the unseen realm. So like, there are no definites. That's why faith exists. That's why belief exists, because there's no evidence, there's no proof, and it's subjective for like every individual. Like, which is both fascinating on one end, but also like, well, obviously that's going to cause problems. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if all these people collectively are allowed to pick a group identity that is like a construct essentially at its core, no matter how old it is, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm at this, I'm at that, and we believe in these things and we do these things, and you're not allowed, you know, tell me I'm wrong or stop me. That's actually retarded and really dangerous, because you're acknowledging that you look at other human beings as the other group, as in not one of us. And then you're openly acknowledging that you have a different rule set for people who are not of your group. Now, in-group preference is cool. Like, I would agree with in-group preference to a point. You know, we all eat this, like, roughly the same food. Like, to me, it's like you just use Irish people as an example. You have Irish food. You have the Irish drink. We're all famous for Guinness, even though I think that's a British company, which is hilarious. You know, Irish moonshine or whiskey, like, we're famous for that, as well as, like, you know, like poetry and stuff. It's like Irish culture is very easy to identify. You look at something and you're like, oh, that looks Irish or Celtic or whatever. It's the same with Arabic stuff and Muslim stuff. Like, the same with Jewish. Like, the second you look at them, you're just like, oh, it's one of those, which is a good thing. That is a good thing, that you can look at something and, like, it's easy to, like, that's how our brains work. That's a spider, that's a pen, that's a brush, that's a canvas, that's a phone, that's a fucking, like, that's a this, you know? Objective reality, agreed upon objective truth. Like, this is a concept that exists, whether, like, people like to fucking acknowledge it or not. And that's kind of the problem right now, is that you have all these groups who don't actually acknowledge objective reality. They only acknowledge their belief system. And they only acknowledge objective reality as far as they have to get along with things. You know? So you're left with a whole slew of people that don't acknowledge objective reality. A few of them don't even believe that objective reality actually exists, which is like fucking mind-blowing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand to a degree where people are like, well, this could all just be an illusion and blah, blah. Okay, well, if I beat the fuck out of you, is that going to feel like an illusion? You know? Like, if I pluck your eyes out of your head and you're blind and in incredible pain and existential dread because you're never going to be able to see anything again, like, is that just... Do you believe you're blind now? Do you believe your eyes have been plucked out of your head by a ginger man? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like... That's why that's why people like me get to a point where you look at other people and you go, okay, there's nothing I can do with you. You're fucking retarded. You may as well be a fucking sheep. You know? Which makes perfect sense, because if you have good people like me who choose to be good, not that I don't have the potential to be bad, obviously I do. But if you have good people like me who choose to be good, but are aware of that shit, you come across someone who is clearly, if I wanted to, I could manipulate them. Obviously, there's going to be people that, like, get into my position where they're like, oh, I could manipulate this person if I wanted to. And then they do that. So that's the situation you have, is you have a whole fucking section of the population of humanity who are aware that there are other humans that they can use like cattle. And it's like... like, what else are you going to call that if not wicked? You know? Like, their excuse is like, yeah, well, I didn't make anybody do anything. It's like, but you know, though. You know what you're doing is going to cause this result. And that's where you get the whole, the ends justify the means thing of like, yeah, but this, though. It's like, but how you got to your solution is a lot of people are dead and deceived and traumatized and filled with rage and want you dead. So now you have to flee to a different land so you don't get caught and killed, which doesn't make any sense, because if you don't believe in objective reality to a point and you could just manipulate all this shit, then why would you fear death? Like, shit, just make it make sense. Like, it's like... Like that makes it makes so much sense that like Jesus was seen as a shepherd, because that's like, is that what it is? Is that what the whole Plato's cave thing is? Is like there are humans who get to a certain level of awareness and consciousness where they realize that other humans don't have that a level of awareness and consciousness, and you're like, oh shit, they're like fucking lemmings. So like, you're kind of in a position of like, oh, like, do I have an intrinsic obligation to like let people know? Like, and that's why people love Owen, because it's like he found himself in that position where you were like, I can't just let this slide, I have to tell everybody. and then you do, and then there's a load of people who just go demon, and you're like, hold on a minute. What the fuck do you mean I'm a demon? Like, and that's when it clicks. You're like, oh, there's so many levels to this shit. There's people who know that some people are cattle and can be taken advantage of. And they like that. And they take advantage of it. And they're aware of people like us who would never do such a thing. Because that's just like... That's just so fucked up. Like, do you know what I mean? To treat other humans like animals. And then make the excuse, yeah, but they behave like animals. It's like, but they're not animals though. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're a type of animal. In this, like, if you want to break it down like that. The same way a tiger, an elephant, fucking, like, we're technically a mammal and all this fucking shit. Sure, like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, the thing that makes us different is the fact that we can choose to not engage with purely instinctual stuff, you know? Like, sure, there's a part of a man when he looks at a beautiful woman where he just wants to take her, because that's like every part of your body is just like, get your body close to her body and like do stuff. Like, it's overwhelming physical drives, like, do you know what I mean? Because that's the programming of, like, just like the spider makes a web, the man is supposed to be drawn to the woman and then make more humans, like, you know? So like, but that's why rape is seen as like this abhorrent thing, because everyone's aware, you know? Like, there's no such thing as rape in the animal kingdom. We call it rape, but it's like, it's not rape. Like, there's no lioness, fucking getting on our iPhone being like, hashtag me too. I'm so sick of this alpha we have. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same thing. Like that's what I think is so funny. You'd have these people who are like, oh, I love these fucking crunchy like nepo babies, who are like, you know, have never had to worry about anything in their life, but they're all about like nature's law and Mother Earth and Gaia and all. Like, they're the types that would eat a baby because they're like, nothing matters. It's all the same. It's all just a grand cycle. It doesn't matter what we do. You know, we're no better than the animals and the birds and the bees and all this shit. You know, just follow your desire, follow your will, all this crap. Like they're the ones that would end up eating a baby, like, you know, and enjoying it and being like, oh, now I know what it feels like to be a naked mole rat in a bad winter. Like, except it wasn't my infant I ate; it was some foreigner's infant that we got off the dark web. Like, it's like, that's it. Like, people are so fucking like stupid or traumatized or scared. Like, fear probably is the most common one. Like, do you know what I mean? When you're talking about these people who just won't engage with reality or objective conversation, where you're trying to just not be biased and you're just trying to talk about stuff, but also do it in kind of like a humorous way and be irreverent, because you don't want to engage in how like utterly fucking depraved half of this shit is. So you take the piss out of it, you know, to like fearing God doesn't get you anywhere, you know. The whole why, if you were God, would you want people to be afraid of you? Do you know, it's the whole like Machiavellian thing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's better to be feared than loved. No, it's fucking not. No, it's not. You don't want people doing stuff because they're afraid of you. You know? Intent. Motivation. Intent. Like, it's so important. Again, one of the reasons why so many people respect Owen and the way he thinks and the way he analyzes things and the things he says and all, like, and the conclusions he comes to. Because it's like, just be honest. Just be objective. Just be, like, even if it hurts, even if it's incredibly painful, to be like, are you serious? That's more than likely the truth. Oh, God, that's so horrific. Like, it's the right thing to do, you know. And we're entering a weird time right now where you have so many Jews and Muslims and Christians like living together in these like cosmopolitan and like low economic areas and all this shit. All these, you know, brown and black males coming from desert regions with no fucking respect for women and no rights and all this fucking shit and all, like, and then you have all these people, all these groups like Amnesty International and all being like, these people have rights. We all know human rights. It's like people trying to claim authority in any given situation. Like, it makes sense why violence, at least here in this place where we are, Earth, whatever you want to fucking call it, the planet, violence, like power is power. The ability to just do something or not do something, you know, like Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that bit in Game of Thrones, like, shouldn't we have Littlefinger being like, oh, I have, like, you know, I have the power because I know things. It's like, no. Cersei has the power because she can just tell them to kill you and they will. And you're standing there. You know? That's power. Power is actual, tangible power. The ability to go, kill him, and it's done. Like, that's what people don't realize, is all this, like, we should vote for better politicians. We should, like, you know, everything needs to be a democracy and blah, blah. It's like, well, who counts the votes? Who's after telling you that you're allowed vote? You know, and who's giving you the options? Do you know what I mean? It's so fucking stupid how people don't realize. It's like Like, people have that saying, like, oh, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Well, another human being is the hand that feeds you. Do you know how fucking pathetic that is? Like, well, in the context of modernity, in the context of, like, your mother handing you a sandwich, obviously it's not fucking pathetic. But, like, we're talking about, like someone you have never met, someone you don't know their name, they've no like, they've no... like, their power over you is... like, it's in one sense ubiquitous, but then in another sense is, like, completely detached. Like, there's no elite stopping me from doing what I want to do on a daily basis. But depending on what I want to do or how I want to do it or where I want to do it, someone will just try to stop me, you know? And when you get down to, like, what things you can do, and people, like, you know, you look at England right now, like, you could turn around and tweet something out that, like, I fucking hate that politician, she's a fat bitch. And you could get arrested for that, you know? Like, that tells you a lot about the time you're living in, where, like, things are so bad that you're not even allowed to have an opinion that correlates with objective reality. Like, that's fucked, you know? That is totally fucked, like. And you have all these fucking Muslims and Jews and Christians, like, living in the same space. Like, talk about, like... It's the perfect storm for mass death soon, you know? Like, you had the first couple of riots there in the last few years in Ireland. And Ireland is, like, the last landmass in Europe before you hit the Americas. Because whether or not the internet is a thing, stuff still spreads physically and in an analog fashion, you know? Sure, like, it'll go over the internet and it'll, like, hit different places. But, like, when the real shit hits the fan, it's local, you know? So... They've constructed perfectly a horrible situation where chaos is, like, inevitable, you know. Literally only a matter of just, like, time. People's patience is wearing thin. You know, everyone's talking about being fatigued, and it's gonna come soon, like, you know. But then again, they've I've thought about this lately. Like, they've done so much, like, traumatic shit. And they've done it so frequently, and it's kind of like what I was talking about PEINTEINGU. It's like, oh, we'll make so much shit that people will just be like, oh, I'm done, you know. And a lot of people are like that now. A lot of people are like, I'm out. I don't care anymore. Like, whatever. And that's really good for, like, people like us. Like, do you know what I mean? Who are, like, people of the good, and people, like... people just checking out, people just being like, fuck that, like, I'm not, fuck this. Like, that's a good thing. It's really bad for them, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because if you've gotten to a point where somebody's not scared, they're just at the end of their rope, they don't care anymore, they've got nothing to lose, like, do you know what I mean? Like, sure, you could maybe benefit from them doing something stupid and impulsive and self-destructive as a result of their apathy and despair, but more than likely you've lost all your power and influence with them because they just don't care anymore, you know. So obviously there's going to be people that go on both boats, and that, like, that's probably how shit like that goes, like, do you know what I mean, over these grand cycles or whatever of empires and shit, where, like, there's going to be so many people dead and dying, and it's going to be a fucking shit show. But then there's going to be people like us who are just doing our own thing, not getting involved. And then it all just blows over and we just rebuild shit, like. Which is kind of hilarious when you think about it, like, you know. All these people getting so fucking wound up over nothing. You know? Like, I still get a little bit upset when I think about my grandmother and my grandfather. And they died, like, what, several years ago at this stage. But there's people who like crash the fuck out because somebody said something on Twitter. You know? Like, my value system and my priorities and my outlook on things is so vastly different from your average person that, like, what would make one of them commit suicide or kill someone or just engage in some kind of impulsive or drastic behavior would probably just make me laugh. And that like, the Owen's done incredible work in that sense, like, where, like, as long as people are willing to, like, listen and, like, throw some coins in the fucking hat, the ratio of how much you get out of it versus how much he asks of you is crazy. You know, you could easily describe him as like a modern version of Jesus, like pissed off the authorities for saying something, banished, had his, you know, like, figuratively killed, you know, as far as rep goes and stuff. Like, they crucified him figuratively, you know. And, like, the amount of, like, look at all the kids that have been born in the bear community, look at all the families they're expanding, look at all the good that's been done, all the businesses that have grown, all the people who've learned, like, all the people learning how to play piano the last year. It's incredible, you know. And it's the same fucking thing. It's like, you hear all these good things that Jesus did and they fucking crucified him. You hear all these things that Owen Benjamin has done and you look into it, like, you know, if you're like, oh, is that crazy dude who lives in blah 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 or whatever, like, and then you look at his stuff and look at what he's done and look at how much people love him for it and all, like, and you're like, hold on a minute, that doesn't make sense. What the fuck? Like our lives are so fucked up in this timeline. Like, children grow up believing in Santa Claus only to find out that all of the adults, like, if you get brought up by a even remotely moral set of parents, they'll be like, oh, lying is bad, don't lie, that's bad. But the meta lie that all of them engage in for, like, marketing purposes and the vibe at Christmas, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's, and they all know, it's like, don't tell the other kids that Santa Claus doesn't exist. Why? Because it'll really upset them. Like, it's, the fact that that's a thing is fucking crazy. Like, that's fucking psychotic for a whole culture to be like, oh no, yeah, we'll lie to the kids. For what purpose? Like, why is it a good thing that they think they're getting gifts from some magical person instead of their parents? Oh, but that big one, that's from Santa Claus. What? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so all your children believe in a higher power that's, like, fake. Like, do you know what I mean? It's so, like, it's so fucked. Like, on a psychological level, it's such a glaringly obvious fuck up of, like, I genuinely think there will be a time where they're like, yeah, like, we used to all engage in, like, a group deception of our own children's view of the world and shit. Like, that's crazy, like. And, like, you could be anywhere between the ages of, like, 7 and 10, or, like, well, anyway, between, like, 4 and 10, and still wholeheartedly believe all that shit, and all the other kids do. And then, like, you find out. Like, I remember when I found out, and it was weird. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there was part of me was like, that wanted to turn around to other kids and be like, so, you know, Santa Claus isn't real. You know, and then I'd look at other kids, and I was still a kid myself. I'd look at other kids and be like, and there would just be this overwhelming sense of, like, this is so weird, because I know that the thing that you really believe in, because I know what that felt like. I really believed in it, and now I know it's not real. It's fucked up, man. Like, It would make sense God created Lucifer with the intent to give himself a rival and to give humanity a choice. That way nature is perfectly ordered, yin yang and so forth. I agree with you on that point. People do adhere to strictly to group identity. By the way, I'm a bear. Yeah, I know, like you and I talked about the last convo, I believe. Yeah, it's like, but like you're not, like, you know what I mean? Like, that rant I went on months ago or whatever at some point where I'm like, what is you? What is I? When you're talking about like I am whatever, it's like you are like a multitude of things. Do you know what I mean? You are not one thing. You're called, you know, Derek, Matt, I'm Alex, like that's Margie. Like you have a name, like, do you know what I mean? But you can have loads of names. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody could call this a cup or a mug. You know, like is one of them wrong? Oh, cups are smaller. Like it's, you can get into the whole thing of language and whether or not you should write things down or whatever. Like it's like because it is, it's very true that you could have a load of people be like, oh, we should write this down. Good idea. And then you could have a load of people that are like, we should write this down. And like, you know, it becomes like a fucking death cult. Like, it's just, it's fucking crazy. I'm at the point where believing voting works is the adult version of Santa Claus. Well, like, I'm at the point where I think religion, like religion, the opiate of the masses, I think religion is Santa Claus for adults. And I'm a mama and a mammy and a granny. Or is that what you guys call grandmother? Is mama? The all known religions are Santa Claus for adults. And the truth within all known religions is the alchemy, the geometry, the symbolism, the universal truths of like behavior and action and the unseen forces and faith and things and the power of the mind and all this stuff. Like that's the true stuff, you know. And then like you could argue whether or not certain things may or may not have happened, like David killing Goliath, that actually take place, so on and so forth. Like, is it just symbolic? Is it just like an allegory, the way Jesus is an allegory of the sun in the winter solstice and all this fucking shit? Like, that's what I believe, is that all known religions are marketed corporate versions of universal truths, and they serve as a divide and conquer between all human beings, because human beings have the capacity, regardless of group, color of their skin, location, you know, culture, like you have the capacity to communicate and to come to the same truths, you know. Like obviously free will and like emotions and all that stuff is like, you know, you could have someone that's like, no, I won't believe it, you know, like, and whatever. But all human beings have the capacity to do that. You have the capacity to come to an objective, agreed upon reality and engage in that reality. But you also have the ability to still like believe in these various things. Like, you know, it's the dogma that gets people, like, you know. And that's what I thought was so funny about my recent interaction there with your one from the community center. It's like when I said many Muslims are religiously dogmatic, and she's like, that's incredibly offensive. I'm like, it's incredibly factual is what it is. You could say the same thing about Jewish people or Christian people. Like, you could say the same thing about fucking Warhammer fans. You could go, many Warhammer fans are like dogmatic. You could say many Christians are religiously dogmatic. You could say many Jews are religiously dogmatic. And like the fact that she took offense, or if she didn't personally take offense, she engaged in a hypothetical charade of that is offensive because that's what we've been told by the board and the corporations that rule us and the ones that pay my wage is offensive. That's what it says in the rule book. You know? And then I'm sitting there going, how is it offensive? It's blatantly fucking obvious, blah, 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 and explain things logically. And the logic doesn't matter because as far as she's concerned, no, these are the rules. And the people who are in charge of me have set these rules. So if I break these rules, I'm going to suffer. So you need to keep your mouth shut and do what I tell you to do. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you were saying, Stabru, of like, that's how they wield their soft power. Yeah, well, like, they can wield their soft power all at once until hard power hits them in the fucking chest and rips the fucking beating heart out of it. Like, it's like, and that's not a threat from me. That's a threat from nature. That's how this shit works. You can play your power games until someone who has real power comes along and kills you all. You're like, like, it's the same with my talk about the concept of honor. You can all engage in the concept and contracts, verbal or otherwise, of honor, and everything can be fine and dandy until someone comes along who doesn't give a fuck about your honor. And like, because it's just you're exposing the loophole in a given rule set of a game. Because that's essentially what all the, like, if you have a village of Japanese people and they believe in honor, and then you have a bunch of Mongols that show up and they're like, yeah, well, our view of honor is different, you know, and they play by different rules. Like, it's like, well, you're not going to engage in certain behaviors because of your beliefs. Well, fine, those are your beliefs. I'm going to engage in these behaviors because they're my beliefs. Like, and that, and I'm telling you now, that means that all of you are going to get killed unless some of you change your behavior, right? And that's what makes that game Ghost of Tsushima, the first one, so good, is because Jin nearly dies and is like, if we keep fighting them this way, we're all gonna die. Like, that's just blatantly obvious. So I'm not going to fight them head on like a samurai. I'm gonna fight them like a fucking ninja. And his own father or his uncle or whatever is like, you dishonored the Aizuno clan, which I know that's a quote from Ninja Assassin, but like, it's the same thing. It's like, you have dishonored your family, your country, your nation, like all that, like our legacy, like all this fucking stuff. Like, a true samurai would just die. Do you know what I mean? Like, we go out there, we fight the Mongols. If we get killed, we get killed. End of story. And there is a beauty to that. There's a beauty of acceptance to that, where it's like, well, if we go out there and we get, it's like the end of the movie The Last Samurai. They all know they're gonna lose, but they go and they fight anyway because they're fighting for what they believe in. You know, it's a beautiful thing in certain circumstances. It depends on the belief. It depends on the intent. Like, do you know what I mean? If you have a load of people, like, that's what's funny is, like, typically you'll see a lot of people who will die for what they believe is a good cause, and they're not going to die for what they believe is, like, well, I suppose you couldn't make that argument. It's not like they're going to believe in something they think is bad. So, like, it'd be much more difficult to get a lot of people to die for the right to eat babies. You know? Because that just goes against, like, the core of, like, what? That's just fucked. Like, it's way easier to get people to die for something called a country. Or something called honor. Or something called gifts in heaven. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry if you get, like, fuck all if any of us, like, none of us know what it feels like to die on a battlefield. Whether or not you're ready for it or not, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the plethora of ways it could happen to you. You could just get a warhammer in the back of the head and that's the end of you. Do you know what I mean? That's probably one of the best ways to go, is to just be fighting, like, kill a few dudes and just get taken out. And be like, yeah, well, I'm in Valhalla now. Fucking, I did my job. Like, the amount of guys who get trampled underfoot, the amount of guys who, like, in the first couple of minutes get mortally wounded and then spend the next few days dying on a battlefield, like, surrounded by the stench of the, you know, the rotting corpses of their brethren. Like, do you know what I mean? Someone comes over and loots him for what he has and doesn't even bother to kill him because he doesn't want to have to waste the time cleaning the blood off his blade. Just leaves him there. Stands on him, like, do you know what I mean? Like, real war, but it's fucking horrible. Like, do you know what I mean? The glory only comes afterwards, if you're lucky. Because typically that's what it comes down to. It's like you could be the best fighter in the land. That doesn't mean you're gonna come out. Do you know what I mean? Straight arrow, like, like someone could. That's why people don't like bows and arrows. That's why people don't like guns. Like the whole idea, it's like snipers and shit like that. It's like, why would I fight you toe to toe when I could just sit up on a hill and click and delete you? Like, do you know? Oh, this has been some rant. You're an aunt and a niece. So many people don't even know the true meaning of Christmas. I know, yeah. I mean, like, you could even, like, that's a huge rabbit hole in itself, where it's like the corporatized modern version of Christmas. You know, that like I got brought up with in the 90s. Santa Claus is red. He's sponsored by Coca-Cola. You know, like. 'Tis the season, it's always the real thing. You know, like, it was fucking, like, or whatever, like, it's fucking... We've all been programmed, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the amount of programming in it is ridiculous, like... Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I got it fucking... What am I? Like, 13 minutes over. Ugh. Right. Where's the, Got a lot of butter in my beard. We play the outro. I hope you have enjoyed today's painting, Goo. I have enjoyed painting for you. The amount of shit that we have on the stream that's like incredibly catchy and that rhymes and all, like, is fucking ridiculous. Like, right.
I hope you've enjoyed today's painting, Goo.
The Celtic one's very musical and very like wholesome and catchy, but this one's just hilarious.
And fucking philosophizing and talking a load of shite. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. If you haven't paid for painting Goo, or you have no honor, and your ancestors will shame you from the great beyond and turn in their grave and show you their ass and fart at you. I hope you've enjoyed today's painting, Goo.
Right.
I enjoyed painting for you.
My beloved Japonita and all you other filthy mortals. This concludes the final episode of Painting Goo for 2025. May you have a glorious Christmas. Christmas. I will simply have a good timer over the next few days. I know not when I will return, but I will let you know. I will send a messenger via birdie, perhaps. Keep your eyes on the skies. Right, be good, be true, be beautiful. And I'll see you soon. Have a good Christmas. God bless you all. And I love you very, very much. You. Painting Goo Goo.
I hope you've enjoyed today's painting, Goo. I enjoyed painting for you. And fucking philosophizing and talking.
Pay for Painting Goo.